I want to tell you about a mother. Her name is Sarah. 3 in the morning. The baby is crying for the 4th time. She pulls herself up, eyes barely open, lifts her daughter into her arms, and sinks into that old wooden chair in the corner of the room. She doesn't say anything, just holds her, hums something without a name, a song she's making up as she goes, half asleep, half somewhere else entirely. She has no idea that in this moment, 3 in the morning, exhausted, hair a mess, shirt wrinkled, she is doing something that no classroom can teach, and no amount of money can buy. She is writing into her child's brain. And the terrifying thing is, most of us do this every single day without knowing it. A newborn baby's brain, right now, is forming 1 million new neural connections every second, not every day, every second. And those connections will shape how your child feels about themselves, about the world, about love for decades to come. What builds them isn't a smart toy. It isn't a Mozart playlist or an early education program. It's you. More specifically, it's 10 things you're already doing every day that you barely think about. Some of these will make you exhale with relief. Some will make you think back to this morning and quietly wonder if you got it right. And the last one, number 10, I promise you will never look at your child's bedtime the same way again. Number 1, the way you say their name. Think back. How did you say your child's name this morning? Was it soft, "Hey buddy, time to wake up"? Or was it rushed, "Jake, come on, let's go"? Seems small, but researchers at Harvard's Center on the Developing Child found something remarkable. When a baby hears their name in your voice, with whatever tone you're carrying, their brain simultaneously activates the regions connected to pleasure, safety, and self-recognition. Not just in that moment. The emotional fingerprint attached to that name, repeated hundreds and thousands of times in the first year of life, becomes what scientists call an early self-recognition pattern. In plain language, the very first sense your child develops of who they are begins with the way you say their name. Not when they can talk, not when they understand what names mean. Right now, while they're still that small, soft, completely helpless little person in your arms. And it's not just the warmth, it's the frequency. Babies who hear their names spoken with positive emotional tone multiple times a day in the first 12 months show significantly stronger development in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles emotional regulation, empathy, and self-control. Say their name, often gently, like it's your favorite word in the world, because to them, it absolutely is. Number 2, the face you make when your baby first sees you in the morning. There's an experiment I need you to know about. Researchers had mothers play normally with their infants, smiling, talking, responding. Then they asked the mothers to suddenly go completely expressionless, still blank, just for a few minutes. A 2-month-old baby who can't sit, can't crawl, can't do much of anything immediately noticed the change, reached out, made sounds, tried everything to pull their mother back, and when nothing worked, the baby went quiet, turned away, curled inward. 2 months old. What does that tell us? It tells us your baby isn't just seeing you, they're reading you. Every morning when they open their eyes and search for your face, they're asking a question. Am I welcome here? Does my being here make someone happy? When you light up that instinctive, uncontrolled thing your face does when you see your child, eyes widening, corners of your mouth lifting before your brain has even caught up, your baby's brain releases oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin all at once. That's not sentiment. That's biochemistry. That's the foundation of what psychology calls secure attachment, the single strongest predictor of mental health, relationship quality, and emotional resilience in adulthood. All of it starts with the face you make at 7 in the morning before you've had your first cup of coffee. Number 3, whether you put the phone down when they look at you. I'm not here to judge. I'm just going to tell you what the science says. There's a concept called the still face effect. When a baby looks up at you and gets back a blank, unresponsive face, even for a few seconds, cortisol spikes in their body. Heart rate increases. They try to re-engage, reaching out, vocalizing, staring harder, trying to get you back. If nothing changes, they stop. They pull back. Here's the part that matters. A baby's brain cannot tell the difference between a caregiver who is emotionally absent because of depression and a caregiver who is simply looking at their phone. The neurological result is identical, and the flip side is just as true. Every time you put the phone down and meet your child's eyes, you're completing what Harvard researchers call a serve and return interaction. the single most important experience for healthy brain development in the first year of life. Nobody's perfect. Phones are real life, but every time you choose the eyes looking up at you over the screen in your hand, you are laying down a piece of the foundation your child will stand on for the rest of their life. Number 4. What you do when your baby cries. This is the one a lot of people will push back on, and that's okay. But here's what decades of research by Bowlby Ainsworth and hundreds of scientists after them have shown, consistently, without exception. Babies who receive warm, consistent responses when they cry don't get spoiled. They develop what's called secure attachment, and secure attachment is the strongest single predictor of long-term mental health we have ever identified. When you go to your baby when they cry, when you pick them up, talk to them. Let them know someone is coming. You're not teaching them that crying is a manipulation tool. You're teaching their nervous system. The world responds to my needs. I'm not alone. Pain is temporary, and help will come. That's not a lesson in dependency. That's the first lesson in trust. And you don't have to be perfect. Research is very clear on this. It's not about responding to every cry within 30 seconds. It's about the overall pattern. When my baby needs me, I show up. That's all it takes. Number 5. The way you touch them, skin to skin, the warmth of your hand on their back, the way you support their head when you lift them up, the slow, deliberate strokes of a gentle massage. The Touch Research Institute at the University of Miami found this. Gentle, consistent physical contact in the early months accelerates the development of the myelin sheath, the protective coating around nerve fibers that determines how fast and efficiently the nervous system operates. Physical touch, quite literally, makes your baby's brain work better. But there's something else. When you're calm, breathing steadily, hands slow and warm, heart rate, even your baby's autonomic nervous system actually synchronizes with yours. Their heart rate slows, their breathing deepens, cortisol drops. Scientists call this physiological coregulation. I call it this. You are being your child's nervous system until they can run their own. Number 6. Your voice when you're stressed, not what you're saying. The tone. Babies under 12 months don't understand language in any meaningful way, but they read your voice the way you read a face. Pitch, pace, tension, all of it is data. Studies using MRI technology to track infant brain activity found that tense, stressed, or angry vocal tones, even when not directed at the baby, even coming from the next room, activate the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. Your baby doesn't understand what you're upset about, but their body is reading the environment and concluding, something is wrong here. This doesn't mean you're not allowed to be stressed. You're human. But it does mean, when you catch yourself wound tight before you walk into the room where your baby is, take 30 seconds, breathe, drop your shoulders, soften your voice. 30 seconds. That's all. Number 7. Your face when your baby falls. There's something called social referencing. Starting around 9 months, every time something ambiguous or frightening happens, a baby looks at you first, before they cry. Before they've even decided whether they're hurt, they're asking, is this serious? And your answer in a fraction of a second, through your face, is the only answer they need. If you panic, they panic. Their brain confirms that something catastrophic just happened. If you stay calm, a small smile, a soft "oh, you're okay," just a little tumble, they process the event as something survivable, and they recover measurably faster. This isn't teaching them not to cry. This is teaching them how to calibrate fear. Your steadiness today is the emotional filter your child will use for the rest of their life. Number 8. The music and sounds in your home. Do you sing? Even off-key? Even made up words? Even just humming while you cook dinner? Good. That might actually be more valuable than whatever playlists you've got queued up. Dr. Patricia Cole at the University of Washington found that music activates the motor, auditory, and emotional systems in an infant's brain simultaneously. More brain regions at once than almost any other stimulus. Babies exposed to regular music in the first year of life show better auditory processing, stronger emotional regulation, and here's the surprising one, greater spatial reasoning ability at age 3. The lullaby you make up on the spot, the music playing in the kitchen while you cook, the quiet humming when you carry them from room to room. All of it is building something inside a brain that is listening to everything in your home. Number 9. How you talk to your baby even when they can't understand a word. Have you ever noticed every parent naturally talks to their baby in a very specific way? Higher pitch, slower pace, Questions that don't need answers. Oh, what are you looking at? The lamp. You love that lamp, don't you? Linguists call this mothrees, and it appears in every language, every culture that has ever been studied, from English to Swahili. That's not a coincidence. It's evolutionary software you were born with, and it works. Hart and Risley's landmark 30-year study, one of the most significant in developmental science, found that by age 3, the gap between children raised in a language-rich environment and those who weren't was 30 million words. 30 million. And that gap directly predicted vocabulary, reading ability, and academic performance at age 10. But more important than quantity is responsiveness. When you look at what your child is looking at and name it, when you respond to their babbling as if it's a real conversation, this is called contingent talk, and it is the single most powerful form of language development that exists. Tell them what you're making for dinner. Narrate your grocery run. Ask them questions they can't possibly answer yet. They don't understand, but their brain is building something that will serve them for the rest of their life. And number 10, this is the one I want you to remember. The moment you hold your baby before they fall asleep, there is a state that neuroscientists call the hypnagogic state, the threshold between waking and sleep. In those few minutes, the human brain, your baby's brain, your brain, everyone's brain is in its most receptive state of the entire day. What a baby feels right before they cross into sleep is encoded differently than at any other time, because after that, the brain begins its night work, consolidating, storing, filing everything that happened during the day. The last thing processed before that work begins, the last emotional input gets prioritized, which means the warmth of your arms, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, the familiar smell, the feeling of being held and safe and completely loved. That's not just how the day ends. That is being written in. The National Scientific Council on the Developing Child identified the consistent emotional quality of sleep transitions as one of the factors most strongly associated with what they call a child's long-term sense of internal safety. Not physical safety, something deeper. The foundational belief, wired into the nervous system, that the world is okay, that they are loved, that the dark is nothing to fear because someone is here. The next time you're sitting in that chair at 11 o'clock at night, exhausted, unsure about tomorrow, quietly wondering whether you're doing this right, you are. Not because you're perfect, not because you never lose your patience, never check your phone, never have a day where you're running on empty and you know it, but because you're there, because tonight, like every night, you picked them up. And in that moment, that ordinary, forgettable, completely unremarkable moment, your child is feeling something that no toy, no app, no expert anywhere in the world can replicate. That something is you. And science, after all the experiments, all the studies, all the MRI scanners, has finally told us what you already knew in your heart from day one. What stays with a child the longest isn't the most expensive thing. It's the warmest. Has your baby ever surprised you, like they understood something you didn't expect them to? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one.